John Lewis. I do work for the city, and I just wanted to let you know that the name of this project, in case you hadn't noticed, is called Elevations and Transitions. Michael Asbill is our artist, and he's Norris, who's our mayor, Mayor Alice Norris. She is going to put on most of the presentation, so I need to get out of the way here. But Alice, just about everybody that I asked if they were coming to the event today said, well, yes, isn't Alice speaking? And so, I mean, you must have lots of good things to say. I'm sure you do. So we also have County Commissioner Bill Kennemer here to represent the County Board of Commissioners. So thank you for that, Commissioner Kennemer. We have Chuck Clemens here, who's our Oregon City Municipal Elevator Art Steering Committee Chair. So he really kind of led this decision to hire Michael and kind of get the whole reason why we're here. So he'll have some wonderful things to say. And last but not least, we've got Michael Asbill here, who's an artist. He's a historian. He's a craftsman. What else do you do? He's just amazing. He's a writer. He's a photographer. He's not a singer, though. I asked him that. So no singing for Michael, but he's definitely a professional social butterfly. So I think if you haven't gotten to know him, you need to take a chance to get to know him. So thank you for being here. And first we'll welcome Mayor Al Norris.
Welcome everybody to this great day. It's really being mayor is an actually fun job because you get to see projects actually completed. And this one is really not completed, but phase one is, and it's just a joy to be able to roll out something today. I would like to introduce two of my colleagues on the City Council. One is our Commission President, Damon Mabey. Damon. And Commissioner Trent Tidwell, both here, part of the team. And then second, we also have another a mayor, and we're delighted to have the mayor of Milwaukee, Jim Bernard, also with us. He walked here from Milwaukee. That's the truth, isn't it? Oh, not today, but he has. Raise your hand if you were on the walk more, drive less, walk today. Yeah, there's several people that at 10 o'clock met at Carnegie Center and took a tour and ended up here, so we're delighted to have you. And in that group there were people from Portland, Tigard, Tualatin. It wasn't just us. And they were very impressed, I think, with what they saw and learned about this historic community. So I'd like to welcome you today to the only municipal elevator in the Western Hemisphere. This is a regional landmark, and so it is called a vertical street. It's maintained by our street division, in case you didn't know. And I love these. I'd like to thank our Public Works Department and Michael Asbill for putting together this, your souvenir to take home. So make sure that you pick one of these up. It's a lenticular print, but only with 2 pictures instead of 3, like the prints in our elevator. So you've probably gotten a little bit of the history, but the historian in me, and since the historian to the mayor, Jim Tompkins, is here, I can't go without giving you just a little history. The first elevator was built in 1915. And I'm told that the impetus was because the mill workers, the major employer of Oregon City, exhausted at the end of the day, really got tired of climbing up the 700 steps to get up to this level where most of their homes were. So the first one was water powered. Every time the elevator went up, no one could flush their toilets, and so they got pretty excited about building an electric one. And this one completed in 1954, dedicated in 1955. So and then I guess we're going to learn later, but I think it's a fabulous factoid that, well, actually, I'll tell you about that in a minute. I think it's important to note, though, that this has incredible ridership. How many do you think ride this elevator every month? 10,000 people, over 10,000 people a month. So it all starts with an idea. And I'm not sure who had the original idea. I've heard it kicked around for a long time. We need to do something about the elevator. And I know that Cheryl Snow and David Porter maybe even Dr. McLaughlin got the idea that this ought to be changed. And actually, if you'd like to come up and see the before pictures of the peeling artwork and the shabby lights and the kind of outdated style on the inside, for 10,000 people a month, over 120,000 people a year, it seemed to me that if Oregon City was going to revitalize, that it ought to change. So the idea needs to take hold. I took the spark, it ignited me, but I wasn't going to do it alone. So I caught the spark, though, because and it essentially needed to be moved ahead of some other projects, which isn't always a good thing. But this is a place of high visibility. It's a symbol of Oregon City's self-image, and it is a catalyst position in stimulating and enhancing additional redevelopment in the vicinity here. I wanted its insides to look as spectacular as the view on the outside. What do you think? Did we accomplish that? So as I said, you know, it didn't just take me, the flames needed to spread. So the Oregon City Tourism Council got on board and said this is a good thing. We appointed this fabulous art selection committee. Chuck Clemens already has been introduced, and artist Michael Asbill, who both caught the flame and began to own this project. The Oregon City Public Works Department caught the flame and enhanced this project because I call it the shabby couch syndrome. You know, when you reupholster or buy a new couch in your living room, everything else looks shabby? That's what happened here. We had this fabulous art, and all of a sudden, the whole rest of the insides began to look a little shabby. So, I believe just 2 days ago, the final touch, well, actually, I believe we still have to paint and enhance the bottom, that when you go downstairs, the area that goes up towards the steps, and that will be the last of the project. But
it's done.
It is? Oh, I thought we were going to do...
That was so 2 days ago?
Oh, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, it's done. All right.
Yeah. Woo!
Thank you to all. This has been amazing. Idea to completion, phase 1. But wait, there's more. I just love that. That's fabulous. Thank you, Max. This was found deep in the recesses of the Chamber of Commerce. Oh, and by the way, our Chamber of Commerce CEO is here, Amber Holbeck. Amber, where are you? Here someplace. And Betty Mom from the Chamber is also here. I saw her back there. This was given to the city, or me, and I thought it was just too good to keep under wraps because it's actually a bank. And so today, yeah, I do. As part of the shabby couch syndrome, now that we've done the inside, it looks spectacular. What about the outside? It's looking a little dated, a little like it needs some attention. So today we are kicking off phase 2 of the elevator. So I am making the first contribution. This shall be sitting here, I'm sure will probably raise thousands of dollars today. So if you'd like to leave your spare change here in the elevator, we'll launch phase 2, which will be enhancing the outside of this icon in our community. So I am a very proud mayor today and absolutely delighted that you all have taken the time to come and celebrate with us. And I will turn this over to one of our partners, especially for support and for funding through the county, and that would be County Commissioner Bill Kennemer. Bill, pocket change right here.
Well, I told John that it'd be easy to follow Mayor Alice, and I meant by that it's easy to recognize her. It's always hard to follow her because she always has some neat stuff to say, and then worse than that, she caught me changeless. But fortunately, I brought 3 hours of remarks so that we have an opportunity to fill this gorgeous afternoon and enjoy our time together. And I think it's appropriate since maybe we can shorten the remarks. Anybody else want to make a contribution? That's great. Thank you, Alice. Gosh, it's nice to put your money in here. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your help in that as well. You know, it's great to be a partner. And things mostly happen with partnerships. And I want to thank Cheryl Snow, who's here as the director of the Clackamas County Arts Alliance. Yeah. I don't see Linda Bell with the tourism department, but our tourism folks, they've had a hand in this. And it's been fun to partner with Mayor Alice and the troops. This is a neat thing. You know, it's interesting. Cheryl wrote me some remarks here, and so I'm going to read them so you can blame Cheryl for the next 25 minutes. For many years, Clackamas County has recognized that encountering art in our daily lives is important because it anchors us to a particular place, a very special place in this particular instance, reminds us of our stories and ties us to our history. And there are some great stories as you walk around here. It enlivens and humanizes open spaces like this, and it helps us to feel some pride and to celebrate our history that has brought us this far. Quality of life always is an important issue for all of us here in Clackamas County. And artwork in public places is not just a slogan, it's a reality and a piece I think that we all treasure. Arts and culture opportunities in civic life can also have other important factors. Those 10,000 people that use this elevator, a lot of them are tourists, and they're bringing trade and opportunity to our merchants and to our various facilities. Art also stimulates the growth of our community, and it's really neat to see some of the things that are beginning to happen. And yesterday when the governor was here talking about Main Street programs, and to be one of the 4 chosen special upper echelon. How was that, Alice? Pretty good? Oh, okay. Upper echelon cities in this new program, this revitalized program. It's exciting. And I think it holds great promise for what can be done, and this is one of the fixtures that needed to be improved. Culture, art, and local heritage result in products that attract and invite tourism, including things like our county's festivals, fairs, public artworks, and small museums, which all are magnets for those visitors and for our friends and families. Last year, Clackamas County formed the Tourism and Cultural Affairs Department in recognition that the arts, heritage, and tourism are natural partners. Working together with cities, cultural organizations, the Clackamas County Arts Alliance, and the Tourism Development Council, we are building and strengthening these partnerships today. And looks like I've run out of money. Thank you all.
Yeah, I'm Chuck Clemens, and I had the honor and pleasure of serving as the chair of the Elevator Arts Selection Committee. I'd like to introduce the other members, and I think a number of them are here. Pat Averill, Eli Jimenez, and then John Lewis from the city. And Don introduced this program today, and we'll say a bit more about him later. Ann Paris, Sarah Torres, and Nancy Froschauer from the city. And Paula Lewis, and we were supported, as Bill has indicated, by the Arts Alliance, Clackamas County Arts Alliance, and Cheryl Snow, and at the time Nancy Nye from the Arts Alliance. I'd like to start by thanking our city for making it a more welcoming and beautiful place by the installation of art in our public places. We have a better place to live, we have a better place to invite our friends, our family, and visitors to our community because we have taken a very, very small amount of money and leveraged it into very large contributions in terms of the art that we can display. And this is just one of a series of art activities and art installations that are being sponsored in this city to make our city a better environment for all of us. The first thing our committee did, and it's been alluded to already a bit, is to set some goals for the project for this elevator. And they're listed in a brochure which is available to you over on the table over here, but I'd like to touch on just a few of the things that I thought were so important. First of all, we wanted to use the features that are within sight of the elevator's observation deck to explain or interpret both the elevator and the city's rich history and unique qualities. And then we wanted to support the elevator's civic role as a gathering place for residents, employees, and our visitors. And then we wanted to provide an inviting and cheerful environment. We felt that the artwork should include the city and the elevator's heritage and history, the elevator's role as a connector between people and places. And then we also wanted to talk about where we're going from here, and Alice has already got the piggy bank going here. I'll talk about a little bit more of that in a bit. The sources for our art, and I think Michael's going to talk a little bit about where he got his photographs, and many of his photographs and ideas. But we wanted to talk about our rivers, the Ice Age floods, pictographs, our social history, including Native Americans, pioneers, early settlers, mule workers, and early businesses. And then we preserved photos of the 1980s paintings that were degrading. They're on the wall over here in a major poster. Then we had some practical considerations as well, and I hope you appreciate these. One of the reasons that the paintings were degrading is that they were in a very, very damp environment. And they were beginning to peel and chip. And so we wanted our replacement art to live in that environment of dampness. And we wanted the artwork to be secure and easily maintained. And then I think I needed to add that incidental to our setting of the criteria for the selection of an artist, we felt very strongly about the aesthetics about where the art's going to be installed. And of course, the upper area here, the observation tower, has been beautifully repainted, and the lighting has been enhanced. And if you haven't had a chance to see it from a distance, I invite you to take a good look at it as you cross the Oregon City Bridge. It's just gorgeous now to see it at night. And then I got to give credit to Eli Jimenez here for this, because he was sort of like a dog on a bone about we needed to do something about the tunnel. And so the city came through for us. As Alice said, we put up the artwork, and then the first thing I did is walk into that tunnel and take a look at the tile and say, oh God, that stuff's got to go. And so the city came up with the additional small amount of funding necessary to take down that old tile that was chipping and looking pretty degraded, replace it with nice bright tile, and again, better lighting, which provides not only great ambiance and a better way to look at the art, but it also adds greatly to the security of the area. Well, after we'd set our goals and our priorities, we did a nationwide search for an artist. We had 34 applications in all. And I won't go through the whole process with you, but it was quite a process to winnow those down. And if you'd said something to me before we started this process that we were going to end up with lenticular photographs here in the observation tower and down in the tunnel, my first reaction would have been, what's a lenticular photograph? Because I didn't even know what we were talking about. But when Michael came in with his proposal for doing this project, he knocked our socks off with the potential. And he not only knocked our socks off with the potential for the art that would remain, he also convinced us that he was the person that we should get because he would immerse himself in our community. As a matter of fact, I kidded a while back, and I think maybe our mayor might have something to do with this, but I think Michael has earned himself honorary citizenship of the city of Oregon City. He actually embedded himself in our city for the better part of 2 months, and he talked to many people. He went through archives, and we'll talk to you a little bit more about that. In other words, he could pass the test on the history of Oregon City better than I could, and I've been living here for many, many, many years. So he's just done a super great job. Michael is from Poughkeepsie, New York. We were delighted that we were able to bring him back for this celebration here today. And so it's with real great pleasure that I introduce to you the artist for the project, and who has become a good friend of many of us, Michael Asbill. Michael?
Thanks a lot, and howdy. Well, first of all, what a glorious day, right? We really lucked out. It's just spectacular. It seems like the whole time I was here, between January and June, it was winter. So I'm pretty pleased that you have summer here now in fall, so, you know, wow. But anyway, I want to, typically when I have an opportunity to speak in a situation like this, I like to thank everybody who was involved in the project. But to be perfectly honest with you, you know, to sort of like return to an earlier sort of a joke, we'd be here for like 2 hours. Really, I worked with so many people on this project that I'm going to have to really paint it more in broad strokes for you because there were just so many participants. But there is one person I want to acknowledge because the last time I was at one of these things, I forgot to acknowledge that person, and so I feel I owe them a debt. I want to say thank you to Jim Tompkins. Where is Jim? There's Jim. Jim is this city's historian, or one of the city's historians, and a more passionate historian I don't think I've ever met. And I've met a lot of them. So hats off. Thanks so much. But let me just kind of lay out for you some of the players in broad strokes who were involved in this project so you can get a sense of just how sweeping it is. I would start with the historical organizations in the city, and there are so many. You have such a rich city in terms of history. It's stellar. It runs so deep, and you have so many great organizations to bring that information up to the front. And